My ex lied and faked vaccination records, leaving our daughter seriously ill. Now I have to take her to court. Me and my ex split up before our daughter's birth. There were a variety of reasons for this. One of them though was her anti-science beliefs. She's an anti-vaxxer and doesn't trust science or medicine at all. Well, this sucks because our daughter was born premature and immunocompromised. We have 50-50 custody of her, but due to her condition and my wife's anti-science beliefs we argue constantly on how to handle her. Well, recently our daughter has made incredible progress and last year was given the go-ahead to get vaccinated for certain viruses including chickenpox and the flu. My ex went crazy about this and started making my life a living hell, and threatened up and down to take me to court. Around this time I also got a new job that paid a considerable amount more than my old. When this happened I decided I wanted to move my girl into a private school that has a program for immune-compromised children and offered to pay 100% of tuition. The only problem, for her at least, is that this school requires students to be fully vaccinated, up to their medically allowed limit in my daughter's case. My ex fought me up and down on this and we ended up in court. The judge agreed with me and ordered my daughter to be vaccinated. Ex had a full breakdown but in the end agreed only on the condition she get to take her to lessen the emotional damage and make sure the doctor doesn't poison her. I demanded the medical forms confirming this and she agreed. So, my daughter finally got vaccinated and last fall started at her awesome new school. Well, last week my daughter got incredibly sick and had to be rushed to the hospital from school. She somehow had contracted varicella, chickenpox, despite being vaccinated for it. I have been stressed out from the minute I got the call and confused as all hell how she got it. My daughter must have picked up on this and thought I was mad at her because when I was visiting her in the hospital she decided to tell me the secret mommy promised to make her keep. Turns out my ex didn't vaccinate her. She made my daughter lie about it. Instead she has been using special oils and salts to keep her from getting sick. What about the forms I got saying she was vaccinated? They're fake. I called the doctor and it turns out she never went in and he never signed any forms confirming she was vaccinated. So my ex lied and faked forms to convince me she was vaccinated. I'm pissed to say the least. My daughter is in the hospital because my ex decided to let her beliefs come before our child health. My ex doesn't know I know yet and I told my daughter not to tell her. I want her gone now. How do I approach this to make sure my ex suffers for this? I have the form she handed me in text from the day she took her. I also have the doctor on record saying he never signed off on these and that the ones I have are forged. I'm planning on speaking to a lawyer but I would like to know going in what to do. Thank you. Update. After I made that post I took the advice given to me and the next time I saw my daughter I told her that it was wrong of me to ask her to keep secrets and that it's okay to tell her mom. Along with that I saw a lawyer recommended to me by a trusted party. When I went to see him he told me that this is a case lawyers salivate over and that my ex is in a lot of trouble. I immediately filed for emergency custody of my daughter. I also got into contact with the doctor again and explained the situation fully to him. He says that while he will not be getting lawyers involved that he wishes for me to submit the evidence to the police and file a report. Along with this, my lawyer has gotten into contact with the court that originally ordered us to vaccinate our daughter and has handed over everything I gave to him. He has advised me to stay quiet on this matter so I'll leave it at my ex is in a lot of trouble with them. During this time my ex started to get suspicious. Maybe it was because a friend told her about a post on Reddit and she freaked out? Who knows? A few days later when I saw her at the hospital we had an altercation. She became hysterical and yelled various threats and insults at me, including telling me that I want to poison our daughter right in front of our sick child. She was escorted out of the building and the head nurse had banned her from coming back. After this she sent me a barrage of texts telling me that I am a monster and that if she had vaccinated her that she would be dead now. This was sent to my lawyer. As he puts it, she's what lawyers dream of when they hear who's on the other side of the court. Outside of this, I've been advised to stay as quiet as possible so I'll leave it with this. This week I received emergency custody of my daughter until our custody hearing later this year. I have heard that the DA is slowly getting ready to move forward with a multitude of charges against my ex and that will land her in jail soonish. And that's really it for now. I'm going to follow the advice given by my lawyer and say nothing else to anyone. I do not want the media involved in this for a few reasons so I've left this as vague as possible. Update 2. Well, to give the short answer first, I have full custody of my daughter, and my ex is barred from having any contact with her. The long answer, my court battle between my ex and me was a grueling process, one of the worst periods of my life. It took over 5 months from the time I got emergency custody to get full custody of my daughter. In retrospect, those 5 months were not as long as they felt, but they felt like the longest months of my life at that point. My ex's harassment at that time got worse. even coming to my house and attempting to force herself in to take our daughter. She was arrested for this and charged with attempted forced entry. Before she could bail herself out, the DA decided to throw the book at her for forging medical documents. She ended up spending a month in jail for this, which unfortunately got our custody case contuned. The upside of this was I was given a protective order for me and my daughter out of this, one that bit her in the ass when we finally got in front of a judge. I was given full custody of my daughter. My ex and her lawyer pissed off the judge by trying to claim that I had planned this all from the start, forcing her into a corner to vaccinate our daughter so I could use her response to initiate the custody battle. Her actions, her upcoming hearing for committing felony forgery and forced entry, along with the protective order, convinced the judge that my ex was more than a danger to our daughter. She lost all custodial rights, and as of now is not legally allowed to contact her in any form. My protective order was extended by 2 years as well, but I didn't need it as it was only a few months later she went to prison. My ex pleaded out, they dropped the forced entry charge and she only got 2 years in prison for the forgery but was still hit with the felony. She was released early due to COVID though. Since then, luckily, I have had no contact with my ex outside of getting the child support I am owed. I am not really inclined to keep tabs on her personal life, but I know that she went off the conspiracy deep end. She is now a full canon supporter, and dating someone who was involved in the January 6th intersection. Other than that, she has disappeared from my daughter's life entirely. As for me and my daughter, the past few years have been a living nightmare. We moved to a new state and I had to put her into fully online schooling. But our lives are great. And amazingly, my daughter was able to get the COVID vaccine only a month ago and is cleared to go to physical school once the summer ends. This saga of my life has taught me so many things. I am grateful every day to have my daughter with me, safe and in a place where she can slowly grow and get healthier. It's kinda touching that so many people are interested after all this time in a normal guy like me and my daughter. I genuinely hope this is the last update I have to make. Thank you for your interest and see you all over the next horizon.